We've made our way now to the west bank of Luxor, the other side of the river from Karnak and Luxor Temple, where we were yesterday, and we are in the Valley of the Kings. So another very iconic, very important historical location here in Luxor. Tell us a little bit about this site.
So this is the Valley of the Kings. I think you don't need to know more than this. Valley of the Kings. So Valley of the Kings, it's a great cemetery from the New Kingdom period, the Renaissance period of Egypt actually. The most famous names, the most important kings of Egypt, we bury in this great cemetery, in this Valley of the Kings. So Valley of the Kings actually, it's included till today, we discovered 65 tombs. By the way, from 1922 till 2008, there is no more discoveries because the last tomb discovered from 1922, the tomb of Tutankhamun, the Golden Pharaoh. But the last 10, 11 years, we discovered more free tombs. So now total 65 tombs, okay? So the most beautiful tombs here, like King Ramses the first, the biggest one, the most famous one, and also the most preserved one, and the most expensive one at the same time. Also the tomb of Ramses III, also the tomb of Tutmosis III. So many tombs available to visit, but not all the tombs you can visit because so many tombs in very bad conditions, not very well preserved. The tomb of Tutankhamun tomb actually in the Valley of the Kings, it is not beautiful as the other tombs, but it is nice because the importance of this tomb comes because about the treasures which discovered inside the Valley of the Kings, inside the tomb. So we discovered more than 5,500 pieces of gold there. So this tomb considered the most famous tomb because of the treasury which we discovered inside, not because of the history of the king or the beauty of the tomb itself or the depictions which depicted on the walls. So, I mean, you can visit 6 tombs, 7 tombs here. We have private tombs like Ramses 5 and 6. We have the tomb of Tutankhamun, we have the tomb of Seti the First, okay? But the classic tour or the classic visits for the tombs of the Valley of the Kings, you can choose 3 for each entrance fees actually. You choose whatever you want from like 7 or 8 tombs open for visitors here. But it's excluding those 3 tombs, which I mentioned, the private tombs like Tutankhamun, Ramses 5 and 6, and Seti the First. So this is the Valley of the Kings.
Yeah, I mean, lots of impressive tombs here. So we'll talk a little bit about some of the ones we went in, but you mentioned Tutankhamen's tomb. So we went in there, and the big draw here is his mummy is still in there. So a lot of the other mummies were moved to the new Museum of Egyptian Civilization in Cairo, but his mummy is still here, so that's kind of the big draw to go inside there.
Yeah, you know, that as I mentioned before, that the tomb, it's not beautiful. I mean, the depiction or the scenes, nothing to see inside, only some scenes representing some chapters from the Book of the Dead, the open mouth rituals, and the first hour, part from the first hour from the Book of Emidwat, which representing the baboons, the 12 baboons in the walls. So actually, if there is nothing, I mean, if there is no mummy inside the tomb, nobody will visit it, I'm sure, because this mummy makes this tomb now worth to visit. Actually, that's why they leave it here, not with the other tombs and with the other mummies to the National Museum.
And the other tombs we went in were all from the Ramses line. So talk about some of those and kind of why you recommend people go in there and what types of things you can see.
Recommend tombs, you mean?
Yes, like the Ramses ones.
Yeah,
like what is so important and so beautiful about those?
Yeah, for example, some people coming and they have some names, some tombs in their mind they want to visit. They have a list of tombs they want to cover. Some others, they don't have any idea about the numbers of the tombs or which tombs before which king. Okay. So actually, when I recommend people to visit some tombs here, I recommend the most important, different varieties actually, like colors, deepest, paintings, sculptures. So you can cover as possible as you can from the 3 tombs, like this. I'm very careful to let you or let the people who are coming to visit here to cover as possible as they can from different types and different style of tombs.
And you mentioned the painting there. I think that's one of the big highlights of coming to the tombs versus like Karnak or Luxor or some of the temples. The painting is so well preserved in some of these tombs, and that really the color brings so much of it to life.
Yeah, the colors, it's amazing. The colors original. It's not our Egyptian restoration school to repaint again, just preserved and doing conservations for the tombs and for the colors and the walls. That's it, but no paintings.
Yeah, it's just incredible here, and I do want to give a mention to our friend Ramses II, who we've mentioned several times now,
see
right behind
this
us
tomb
here.
actually, no,
So-
like here, this is the tomb of King Ramses II, the most famous king. But his tomb, it's the poorest tomb nowadays. I mean, it's completely damaged. Nobody can see it. Nobody can visit it. It was not open, and it will be not open for visitors, by the way. So this tomb in very bad condition now. It's still under restoration. Not safe inside as well. Yeah, but I've been there.
Yeah. Well, that's some of the taste of the Valley of the Kings for you, so we'll keep checking out more on the West Bank now.
I don't know where it is. We saw this previous name.
Pero mirando, ahora.
That'd be like a staff of power.
That's
I guess that's it. So that is the power, isn't it? Like the little mustache.
No, there wasn't this thing. So he's got the. Yeah, down there.
here, this is the funeral procession. Look at here. So the funeral procession, look at the friends of the deceased, and this is the cult of King Imhotep III, Nebmatra, the priest and his wife, Queen T. Okay, they are worshipped them, the King Imhotep and his wife, they worshipped as the gods. And this is the journey to Abydos. This is the boat, look at the sea, the fish and the lotus, papyrus. And the servants and the priest presents offerings and doing purifications for the deceased and his wife. And look at here, this is the tomb. As I told you, remember when I told you any tomb in ancient Egyptian history should have a pyramid. At the top of the tomb, here we should have a pyramid from mud break, but we didn't find it. So that's why very important. Look at the mourners, she's crying. Look at little bit details, she's crying. And releasing the eldest son of the deceased, he's releasing the incense and doing the last touch and doing mummification for his father. Okay? And then here, this is another card for Nebhebtra, the small temple beside Hatshepsut. From 2500 BC, they worshipped him and his wife, Nefertari. So it's very important as well when she worship and they worship the gods during the ancient time. Hamet Mesut were the great royal wife. Okay? And then here the goddess Hathor is coming from she appeared from the mountain, the western mountain. And then you can see the deceased body. And then the body when his soul returned back. This is the soul of the deceased and returning back to the body, flying to be united to let him return back to the life. Beautiful fresh colors, beautiful paintings here in King Imhotep III and his wife Queen T. Also, they are worshiping and receiving offerings, cold water from the deceased. So here, the king adoring to God Osiris, the deceased here, actually also the deceased here and the deceased here worshiping to Goddess Ma'at, Goddess of Justice. This is unfinished, no text, no details. So it's finished, unfinished, and then the deceased and his wife worshiping to Osiris and Isis, worshiping to Bitah, Sokrizir, and Sekhmet. So this is very interesting tomb with a beautiful and a lot of details. You can see the lower part when they are transferring the funeral ritual, funeral tools and furnitures to the tomb, and look at the mourners, professional mourners. They paid for to be crying, to reenactment like Goddess Isis. And for we have just few scenes represents the Egyptians wearing jackets and heavy dress.
Like winter
dress, winter cloth. Usually they appear like this, very soft and very nice. So for the first time, very few scenes represents the winter's clothes actually. Yeah.